Over the years, I've navigated through 3 significant relationships, but none as turbulent as my time with Julia. Our story began on a hopeful note when we matched on Bumble, quickly bonding over our shared college and mutual acquaintances. This connection soon blossomed into a relationship, marking the start of what I believed would be a happy chapter. However, beneath the surface of our early bliss, Julia harbored a controlling and obsessive nature that would soon turn our love story into a nightmare. At first, Julia's intense desire to know my every move felt like concern, but it quickly morphed into a suffocating grip on my freedom. Her lack of a wide social circle seemed to fuel her possessiveness, leading to incessant texts and demands for my location whenever I stepped out with friends. Our relationship, once a source of joy, became a prison of constant surveillance and accusations. The tipping point came one night after an unplanned bar visit with friends. Returning home, I was met with Julia's fury, her eyes wild with accusation. She confronted me with a physical aggression I had never seen, striking me as she hurled insults, her screams echoing into the night. That chaotic confrontation in front of my mother's house was the final straw. Amidst her threats to involve the police, I declared us over, hoping to end the cycle of madness. But peace was far from my grasp. Julia's vendetta took a darker turn when she sent her new boyfriend to my doorstep, his threats shattering the night's silence as he vowed violence. The sound of my windows breaking under his wrath was a chilling testament to the lengths Julia would go to maintain her hold over me. The police arrived just in time, their lights a beacon of hope as they apprehended the man fueled by Julia's lies. In the aftermath, I sought legal protection, armed with evidence of Julia's relentless harassment. The ordeal led me to confront her one last time, demanding answers she couldn't give. With a restraining order in place, I finally found silence on the other end of Julia's once incessant communications. This journey through love turned nightmare taught me the importance of recognizing red flags and the value of personal freedom. As I share this story, I hope it serves as a cautionary tale of the unpredictable depths to which troubled relationships can plummet, reminding us all to tread carefully in matters of the heart.
For 2 years, I found myself entangled in a relationship with Sam, a period marked by both emotional and physical turmoil. Living with my mother in a less than ideal part of town, I clung to Sam for a sense of security, despite the pain he caused. His stature provided a semblance of protection in a neighborhood where vulnerability felt like a constant. Yet, this very sense of safety was a double-edged sword, as Sam's actions often made me feel diminished and trapped. The decision to leave Sam was fraught with fear, not just of the act itself, but of the aftermath. My mother's disapproval of Sam underscored the urgency to sever ties, yet it took me far too long to act. Eventually, I mustered the courage to end our relationship via text, fully aware of the potential backlash. Sam's immediate and intense reaction confirmed my fears. As he bombarded me with calls and aggressive messages, I sought solace in the thought of discussing things when tempers had cooled. Yet, I couldn't shake off the dread that enveloped me. That night, with my mom working late and the house enveloped in silence, I sought refuge in sleep, only to be startled awake by unsettling noises. The presence of my cat, Cleo, at the edge of my bed provided a brief moment of comfort until I realized the gravity of my situation. The thought that Sam might have entered our home uninvited sent chills down my spine. My fears were compounded when I discovered Cleo lifeless, a cruel act I immediately attributed to Sam as a twisted form of retaliation. In a state of panic, I locked myself in my room and dialed 911, whispering my fears to the operator. The wait for the police was agonizing, marked by a blend of fear and grief. When the officers arrived, they found no sign of forced entry, suggesting Sam had left as silently as he had entered. My mother's return home brought no solace, as we mourned Cleo together, feeling helpless in the face of such a malicious act. The following day, we took steps to secure our home and legally protect ourselves from Sam. Despite the lack of physical evidence tying Sam to the break-in and Cleo's death, the emotional evidence was overwhelming. The court's decision to grant us a protective order provided a semblance of relief, but the scars of that night lingered. Reflecting on those harrowing moments, I'm haunted by the thought of Sam lurking in the shadows of our home, watching with malice in his heart. The experience has left me wary, forever altering my perception of safety and trust.
In my junior year of high school, I entered my first relationship with Jackson, a senior from a neighboring town's high school. Our digital beginnings on Facebook soon transitioned into real-life meetings, supporting each other at games, his football, mine softball. Our relationship quickly evolved from casual hangouts to officially dating, though our youthful version of dates revolved around simple pleasures like burritos and drives, navigating the awkwardness of my always-home parents. Jackson, for all his charm, was a hothead with a physique that served him well in football, yet he kept company not with athletes but with the more laid-back, stoner crowd. Our interactions remained largely insulated from his social circles, adding a layer of solitude to our relationship due to the distance and my inability to drive. As time passed, my interest began to wane, drawn instead to Mike, a classmate whose presence ignited new feelings within me. Faced with this emotional crossroads, I invited Jackson for a drive to discuss our future, or the lack thereof. His intuition sensed the impending conversation. His reaction, however, was unexpected. The calm drive quickly escalated into a showcase of his temper as he refused to accept the breakup, his anger leaving a permanent mark on his dashboard and an indelible scar on my memory. His escalating fury, manifesting in reckless driving and ignored stop signs, culminated in a terrifying moment as we veered off course, heading into an isolated wooded area. My fears, previously whispers, screamed for attention as I demanded to be let out, fleeing from the car into the night, saved only by a call to my mother for rescue. The ordeal didn't end with that night. A subsequent attempt to move on with Mike was shadowed by a menacing presence that I recognized as Jackson, his figure looming in the darkness, a silent threat that turned my simple walk into a harrowing sprint for safety. The culmination of these events, a series of anonymous calls and the unsettling sight of Jackson's car outside my home, prompted my family to confront his, a confrontation that echoed with threats of legal action and marked the end of Jackson's attempts to re-enter my life. This chapter with Jackson, while closed, served as a stark lesson in recognizing and heeding the red flags that can sometimes be obscured by the intensity of young love.